Okay, now let's comment on the PHP articles posted on the PHP classes blog on December, since this was a month with vacation. Not many articles were posted, but we are going to cover like 4. And I have some feedback. Okay, so we are going to start precisely by the first one, which is on PHP performance comparison evolution. We already talked about this
suggestion. Let's start on sharing the screen.
That is also a good idea in general, just in general. And I just need to find the right tab to share. Okay, it's appearing now. So as I was saying, this was already commented on the PHP classes, on the PHP innovation, lately PHP podcast, but we covered it here again because it was one of the articles of the month. This article was by Christian Vig, and then the purpose was to show an extensive list of PHP versions starting PHP 5 and throughout PHP 7.1 and including one experimental branch that is using a JIT engine to optimize the execution of PHP code by converting it into native machine code. This article was elaborated by Christian Vig that compiled all these PHP versions that you can see here on the screen, and he measured the time that it took to run several types of benchmark scripts. In some cases, he had to run those benchmark scripts many times in a loop, so it did not give inaccurate results. As you may see here on the columns that show the relative gain, is the percentage number, and this is between the version here and the previous version. So performance increased 27 times between PHP 5.0 and PHP 7.1, which is a lot. And PHP 7, PHP Next, PHP 8 or PHP 7.2, that will include the JIT engine, will still be 50% faster, but for pure CPU tasks. This article will be updated by Christian eventually soon, with also benchmark results for code of a real-world application. In the case, it will be WordPress. The gains won't be as significant, but they'll still show that PHP became much faster over time. And this is very interesting, very complete, the article, because it shows the lists of performance-related improvements on each version. There are some details about how we achieved these results, what configuration you used. And finally, in the end, there is a section thanking the developers of PHP Core that contributed to all these performance improvements over time, in special Dimitrios Togal and his team that always contributed a lot to PHP performance improvements, but especially in PHP 7, Chin, we and Nikita Popov also collaborated with these improvements. In the past, we all know that at least starting PHP 4, the performance of PHP was improved a lot. That was when it started using the Zen engine, which is an engine that compiles PHP source code into opcodes. But those were the times where more the Zen founders, Andy Gutmans, Siv Suraskan, and also Stas Malishev have participated in the performance improvements that happened then. But this article only covers from PHP 5 on. It doesn't cover before because there should be practically nobody using those older versions. And also in the end, there is also a tribute video to the 21 years of PHP development created by Peter Cockart, who is the founder and moderator of the PHP group on Facebook. And there is a nice video here that that is very loud. But it's quite nice because it shows how the branches of the modules of the PHP code evolve over the years. I don't know if I'll be able to see this in top resolution. Yeah. It's quite nice. It has 4 minutes. So if you like what you see, you should take a look at this article. And there is also a reference to the PHP diversity rainbow elephant campaign. That was a crowdfunding campaign that already ended, but since this was published before the campaign ended, there was an appeal to participate in this campaign that was very close to not reaching its goal, but thanks to the PHP community that gathered around this initiative, it reached the goal. So I ordered my own diversity elephant. What about you, Arthur?
Unfortunately, no, I missed that campaign. When I was reading the article, it was already closed.
So you are not going to get a colorful elephant.
Unfortunately not.
Not part of this campaign. I think you can buy it separately.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I placed when you support, it's a pledge, right? For this campaign, and hopefully when the elephants are ready, I'll be getting a small one and a big one. As if I don't have enough elephants over here.
Right.
Okay, this article gives a lot of details, but basically that's it. That was the most important. Stay tuned for the update that will include the performance results regarding running PHP with WordPress. So the next article that we are going to comment
is developing for PHP scalability using web application performance testing of load. This article was written by Dave Smith, and it covers some basics of performing scalable applications, uses some tools, and this explains some terms. So let's go through it. So the first term is bottleneck, which literally describes the bottle and its neck as the tightest spot. So if you flip it over, the water will run slower because the bottleneck is more smaller than the bottle itself. Then if you cut it through into sites, for example, yeah. So it symbolically represents the part of your application that works that is the slowest one. So you would need to analyze it and to check to see what your execution time of your code parts, profiling and stuff like that, to understand your bottlenecks. Next is a scaling. There is a vertical scaling and a horizontal scaling. So vertical scaling is more when one server or one unit something, and you increase resources for this unit, like more memory, more processor for the server, faster processor and stuff like that. And horizontal scaling is when you add more units and they run in parallel or in a balanced way. So the more units to handle all your needs, you expand to more servers and replica sets and shards and stuff like that. So how the author Dave explains it that you need to have a development environment where you test everything that you can there, even instantaneous peaks and all the scenarios that you can predict, or as he explains, guess that could happen before moving to production. And he even shares the tools that he uses. So, for example, if you have a website, probably you will have users that would be accessing it, and emulating lots of users instantaneous peak is hard because what you would probably emulate is simple request to the server, but users do actually more. They have some kind of behavior, and these tools that he shares allows you to record what your user does and replicates it on a larger scale with more connections. So yes, what he calls is WAPT tool from SoftLogica, and load agents that would manage your virtual users and their interactions. So it's a nice article if you want to really test to understand how you can test and prepare your website or your web app for high load, to test the performance and improve it and make it more scalable. I think most of this part would even apply if you're not using PHP, but any other environment you have.
Yeah, that's true. This is actually a sponsored article from a company that provides the WAP tool,
Yeah.
which is useful to determine in practice how ready is your environment to handle the load of many simultaneous users. So there is, I think, a limit for the free version, but once you use the premium version, you can, I think, test up to 10,000 simultaneous users, which is a lot, I think.
Yeah.
At least for one server, but I'm not sure if this is for just one server or for clusters, for instance. Okay, so I would also like to comment on another article. If the Hangouts let me share the screen, which is an article on how to create a PHP secure login and registration system in 2016 and already 2017, because things did not change much. But the idea is to show here this article of Ashraf Gates is about an actual package that implements a common functionality that many applications need, which is to have a system register users that are stored in a database, and it, in the case it uses PDO to store the user records.
So you can switch databases more easier.
Well, nowadays the purpose is when I think about security, is more of using prepared statements rather than just concatenating strings and have risks of having SQL injections. So the article talks about this. What is a system for login and registration that can be considered secure? So what is mentioned here is there are several of features that it provides, like using PDO to avoid SQL injections, and it also uses a strong password hashing function of PHP to minimize the chances of actually have your passwords guessed if for some reason somebody leaks the database. And it also has a feature that limits the number of attempts that the user may fail a password. So it avoids that somebody is trying to guess the password by doing some brute force attacks. So these are basic things that all systems should have, but it was interesting that it is described in a simple manner in an article with all the features that you usually need on a registration system. This allows just you to log in with your email and password, but you could eventually make it more complete and integrate with the login system based on OAuth. That would allow you what is called a social login using Facebook, Google, Yahoo, and accounts of many other providers. So the tutorial is quite simple. It just teaches you how to create login and registration pages. It uses Ajax for form submission, and it performs all the security checks by filtering some variables that are not supposed to have certain values. And there is also the activation process, which consists in activating an account by sending a code by email. And finally, there is also support to perform the logout process. Process for logged users, of course. So this article is pretty complete. It is nothing that you should not know, but unfortunately, many users are not familiar with all the steps that they should be concerned. So it was quite interesting and complete. This article from Ashraf Gate from Bosnia. Okay, so there is one more article, right?
Yes, let me comment on PHP RTF parser to process word processing documents, part 1. I think, yeah, we already commented on similar package, and it's by Christian V from France. And so RTF document is a rich text format document provided by Microsoft. I think the program using it was called WordPad. Yes, even I think when I first got my computer, actually saw something like that. So not that old, or maybe I'm already old. I don't know. And basically, this article is about how to parse these kind of documents, what are its contents, and how to interpret them. So here is an example in a WordPad, and I actually don't remember it much. Having special characters, nice, and underneath it looks something like this. So basically, I think it was one of the first formats that would allow you some text formatting, colors, fonts.
Well, actually, that was more like something that was the precursor of HTML because it's all based on text. But it was mostly meant for interchange, like interchanging documents between Windows and Mac users. Uh, so, but this is pretty old, and but the author explains that he developed that parser to perform to implement a solution that has nothing to do, because nowadays nobody uses RTF for saving documents, although it is possible. It explains that since it was in text, when we export RTF, you can have a parser and somehow reformat the text to clearly see the difference between two documents. And because by then you use a text difference tool to compare the documents.
But article is mostly about the RTF, the syntax that it has. So if you are gonna understand RTF more, you should check it out. So there are control words, and you can see them, and that everything is surrounded these curly brackets, and all the document is, and then it's grouped into smaller groups, like here, and there are control symbols and how you escape expressions. Basically, I think the whole RTF standard is explained more or less in this article.
Yes, because this is the first part of the series. I don't know if Christian already has the other parts ready, but we'll wait and see. So that one was just to explain the format. Yeah, it's basically to tell all this is something very similar to HTML, but it's not HTML. Okay, well, with this, we end the PHP articles report of that relates to December articles. There are not many articles in December because it was a month on when many people were celebrating holidays, Christmas and New Year. So, but next month, actually, the current month, there are many more articles being planned to be published. So, I guess that's all on my behalf. That is all for now. See you.
Bye-bye.